Adelaide fans were rocked by the T-Birds' loss to the Jaegers last week. That doubles their motivation for payback as they tackle the competition leaders, the Swifts, the only other team to take the points from the pride of South Australian netball. Can Sydney be the first club to run through a season unbeaten, or can Adelaide spring back to form and crash their party? Those questions will be answered at Etzer Park. This has been looming as such an important game for so long that maybe the Adelaide Thunderbirds took their eye off the ball last week with that shock loss to the Hunter Jaegers in Newcastle. Now they need the Sydney Swifts to drop 2 of their last 4 to have any chance of taking the minor premiership from them. Let's have a look at the points table, and the Swifts are 4 points clear at the top. There's a handy percentage lead for Adelaide over Phoenix, separating those two teams on 16 points. But how good is that race for 4th, with the Kestrels, Orioles and Firebirds all on 4 wins? The Jaegers are happy to keep running amok through the finals contenders and seem to have guaranteed that the wooden spoon goes to the Darters. But have some of the top contenders lost some momentum? Eloise Southby-Halbish, this is a great form guide, the Swift and Thunderbirds.
It certainly is. Look, this week I think the Thunderbirds would have had a tough week at training, and Margango really would have set them into their paces. I think she would have worked them hard, and tonight they're going to come out and try and be really strong. But I don't know how that's going to go against the top team, the Sydney Swifts.
Well, I do like the Swifts' defence. It seems to be the platform not just for their game but for their season.
Well, how do you beat Broadbent, Monia Gerard and Liz Ellis, the queen of the court? Every week they get out there and they're just playing superb netball. They're also doing very well in attack. So across the court, they're pretty polished, and I think it's going to be a tough match for the Thunderbirds. But if they've got that hunger and desire there, which they have done in the past, anything is possible.
You can take a pick from the many key players on court. We spoke to Kath Cox and Bianca Reddy.
We've been working on quite a few things over the last few weeks, team-wide, so hopefully putting them into practice. They didn't come off so well last week against the Jaegers, but we've learnt from that, and tonight will be a strong game for all of us, and we're just looking to work really well as a unit, as a whole team all across the court.
We're working on just doing simple things well. I think in the past couple of games we've won them, but we haven't won convincingly. We've been throwing far too many balls away, and if we do that against a quality side like Thunderbirds, we're going to get beaten.
And Adelaide netball fans are giving us the perfect setting to play this one out. It's a sellout at Etzer Park, and they are welcoming their team onto the court. This is going to be something special, I think. And Neil Cross is down on the sideline for us tonight. Neil, what's your feeling about this one? The crowd's got to be worth a goal or two, hasn't it?
I think it'd be worth more than a goal or two, actually, Steve. Gee, it's raucous in here, and just about every vantage point is taken. I know that the Swifts captain, Liz Ellis, wasn't too happy with the warm-up. They were forced out onto one of the courts at the back of the stadium to initially start their warm-up because of the promotions that were going on centre court, so she wasn't happy about that. Maybe that'll fire her up. Certainly the Swifts, with the best home, or best away record, I should say, in the league, they'll be looking forward to this clash against the team that has the best home record in the league, the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds this week have worked very hard on their ability to get the ball into their goal circle. Last week, disappointed that the goalers were too high up the court, so watch that tonight. Thunderbirds have been working hard at training. Margango not happy with that loss to the Jaegers last week, Steve.
Well, I bet she wasn't, Neil. They won't be smiling at each other for too much longer. Liz Ellis and Kristen Heinrich. As Sharon Kelly and Nikki Boyd come out onto the court, they were the umpires when they last met in round 7. And this is a big occasion for them. So good luck, everybody, as we get underway with the Swifts, of course, in yellow and throwing one away off almost the second pass of the game, Selena Gilsonen. That's the kind of pressure that is out there.
Thunderbirds are really going to want to score off this one. They've got the first turnover for the match.
And Heinrich Medhurst, just a subtle change here. Laura Von Berto and Nat Von Berto, they were in opposite positions when they last played the Swifts. Schultz, Poynton and Reddy, and expect those circle defenders once more to change throughout the match for the T-Birds. Cox, Pratley, Green, Gilsonen. The back three are manoeuvrable again for the Swifts. Broadbent, Gerard and Ellis. When they played in round 7, Broadbent was at goal defence, Gerard at wing defence. There's versatility in both lineups. And of course we've got these two foundation coaches going out there as well in Margango and Julie Fitzgerald, as Heinrich backs along the baseline as she does so well. And Ellis, uncontested rebound, quick outlet pass to Gilsonen. Big one too, Gerard driving up through the middle. Pratley. Gilsonen. These floating passes down the court, Adam. What do you make of them?
Well, certainly not high percentage passes, those ones, but they seem to sort of come off if a defender comes through an contact, so which is what happened just then.
So Catherine Cox having a good season, a good career, and Pratley turning out to be a mighty fine partner for her in goals. Pratley worked so hard outside the circle. That was a little bit risky, but ready. Oh, ring attack. And so Kimberly Green just drifting offside. Scholes driving up the court. Great ball movement from the Thunderbirds. Medhurst. Nat Bomberto. Where did Medhurst come from? He just flew into the circle.
Ellis and Gerard will actually be very disappointed that they didn't pick up Medhurst on that occasion. You can't allow one of the Thunderbirds goalers just to float in like that.
Gerard gets set. Pearson. Pratley. Cox. Green to Pratley. And a nice even start to the game. You know, when they played in round 7, the Thunderbirds in Sydney led 16-9 at quarter time. It's surprising that they got away so well and then ended up losing it by half a dozen. But that 6-goal margin is the closest anyone's come to beating the Swifts this year.
Exactly. Now, just looking at that ball going into Cox, going in about 3 times the last plays high, so Fellows may be an option for Thunderbirds to come on with their height if it doesn't keep working there for the defensive end of the Thunderbirds.
Laura Bomberto. Medhurst.
Very creative there by Medhurst. She actually balked the ball to her fellow shooter in Heinrich and then flicked it out and retook it from the circle edge. So well done there to Heinrich.
Right, go. Jane Woodland's beside her. And Green in the corner. A little tip there from Scholes. There's an offside call. Sharon Kelly rounding it up. Green. Played that twice, Captain Cox. Maybe fortunate to get away with that one.
I think Sharon Kelly the umpire was caught round the post and didn't see that.
Julie Fitzgerald and Jo Keefe, her offsider. Nice moves again put on by Heinrich, but you know, I always am impressed when the feeders know when to let it go, because putting moves on, 2 to the second, it's got to be just right.
Well, it certainly does, and look, they have a very good understanding, both Bombertos, of their goalers, and they're very quick, and great intercept there by Scholes. Great pressure, one-on-one defence there.
Laura Bomberto, Heinrich works out of the circle. Lots of communication going on between attackers and defenders. Who to go for, where to go to. And they'll let that one run out of court, the Swifts.
The crowd are saying that Gerard actually touched that, but I don't think it was a little tricky one that she sort of did, but sort of didn't.
Or she either did or she didn't. It doesn't matter now. The Thunderbirds have got it back. Heinrich again puts on a nice move at the back of the court, and through it goes.
We see Gerard going up there. See, she might have done actually a finger out of that one, but who knows?
Good
Leave
luck,
it to the umpire.
yeah,
exactly.
Medhurst. Oh, nice work with the outside of that hand by Ellis.
Oh, great work there by Heinrich, coming to the edge of the court and actually flicked it back onto Ellis, so it was their throw-in.
It's an old trick, but it's a good one. That was an old one. People keep using it. Lean against Ellis.
It's a great start here by Heinrich. In the past, she's been probably muscled out by Ellis, but she's really standing her ground and moving around a lot. Great flicking off Ellis. Good work, Heinrich.
Basketballers do the same thing.
Exactly.
Whatever gets you the possession. Cox. She knew that was off. And is she all right? And it was maybe a twist of the knee.
Yeah.
And Reddy landed on top of her, and she's just looking at, I can't tell whether it's the knee or the ankle. It wasn't very good. So she chased in after the rebound. Ouch! That's a hyperextended knee. That's not supposed to bend that way, really.
It looks worse from this angle too, coming down straight on it.
Yeah. Sean Mungavan having a chat to Cox, who looks as though she should be okay. Norma Plummer and other Australian players, and we'll be hoping that that's right. Having a smile, so I think she's going to be fine. Chased after it hard. I don't like seeing that.
No, I'll be putting some tape on there to make it feel a bit better.
Cox, fine. And 6-5 it is to the T-Birds. Ball of Umberto. Heinrich is finding some space there. Just got the Sydney Circle Defenders worked out at the moment. What's going on, Elle?
Well, basically they're actually really getting them on the move. So they're moving around, not standing still, and that's actually causing a bit of havoc. And Gerard's getting a bit lost, so they may look to change and put Broadbent in there.
Contact against Reddy. Seven, 6. And 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Gerard times the leap well. Bounces it to Pratley. And again to Gilson. And Green absolutely free on that side and pops the ball into Cox without too much drama. And she's 6 from 7. Just the one shot put up so far by Susan Pratley.
Yeah, but she's doing a lot of creative stuff on the outside and throwing those long balls in. So
Schultz. Nat Lomberto. Medhurst. And Heinrich. She shoots from there. No, she doesn't want to. Wants a better position. And Medhurst. Oh, contact. Heavy contact. And Ellis applauds it. Well, they're going to make these Adelaide goalers work hard for everything.
Oh, it was a great try by Gerard. She saw the ball but just couldn't get quite back there quickly enough. That's a bad error by the Thunderbirds, a bad throw out of court, really.
Dallas with the throw in. Broadbent. Gilson. Green. Pratley. The Green and the Australian 21 and underside, and the rest of the Swifts team are in or have played for the Australian team. No wonder they're sitting on top of the table.
They're a pretty dynamite lineup, let me tell you.
Pratley.
Those long balls are going in, and Reddy's got to either get in front of her Cox, or otherwise they're going to look to change it. It's going in far too easily.
Contact against Pratley. Reddy was all over the rebound. Poynton, Medhurst. Both goalers out of the circle. Now Heinrich steams in. Great move again. We see that roll 100 times a season, but gee, it's good.
And Liz is getting quite annoyed now that she actually did that roll on her. Liz is such a professional. She hates anyone doing a move like that. So she's firing up. I can see it by the way she slammed that ball out of her hand. Fantastic footwork. She took a couple of little steps and rolled around and got into a nice shooting position under the post.
She rolls to the right but comes left.
Yeah, it's quite an unusual, unorthodox, but it works. And again, they get it down so quickly, and that's the thing. When they're on a roll, Thunderbirds, they are extremely hard to stop, and that's what the Swifts have to do now is dig deep, probably look to go a bit one-on-one and really, really muscle up on their players.
5.5 left in the first quarter, and it's all we hoped it would be. It's the Thunderbirds out by 2.
Contact centre.
That's against Selena Gilsonen. Laura Bomberto, Nat Medhurst. Nat Bomberto got a taste of the floor. Heinrich. Oh, that's come out to favour the Swifts. It's a good effort from Medhurst.
Probably a wrong choice of pass by Gerard, and she knew it. She looked at and frowned upon herself.
Oh, good hold from Poynton.
Oh, fantastic Heinrich, very creative.
And Medhurst with just her 4th shot, but she hasn't missed yet.
Gerard, she throws it straight to the hands of the safety of Scholes. She took it well. Very disappointing for her.
Heinrich.
On the ball.
Oh, that's a pretty tough call on Monia
That is
Gerard,
very
who
tough.
shakes her head. That was a risky pass from the Thunderbirds, and I thought the Swifts were ready to punish them.
Gerard's just getting called for a couple of penalties here. Her timing's slightly off, and that is why the umpire's picking her up. She's about a second off the pace.
Assist in the air from Gilson to give the signal for the move off this centre pass, and Green has it now. How many options would you come into a match with off the centre pass plays?
Lots. Probably 5 or 6, 7 maybe. Make up a few as you go.
Whoops.
Over a third. The thing is, if you can be creative and come up with a few different ones as they're happening, they have no idea what you're doing. So
Because you don't either.
Yeah, exactly, and often it works.
That's the best kind of improvisation. Unreadable. Foot slid from Kimberly Green. She's lucky she wasn't called for something.
Exactly. No, and there, Gerard again going for it, but just a fraction late.
Laura von Berto, Nat von Berto, Medhurst. Ellis has to back away. Good screen set by Heinrich. Oh, they're all over that shot.
Goal defence.
Yeah.
Goal defence.
Hand
Yes.
on the arm, undeniably, from Gerard. And Julie Fitzgerald has got to be concerned now. The Thunderbirds have scored the last 5. And she's got defensive options, of course. How long can you hold your medal as the coach? Ellis chased that one down superbly.
And the reason why she did that so well is she went up with 2 hands. Fantastic effort. When you look here, she was so far away from her player, but she went up with both hands and grabbed it in, followed up her ball.
They need Ellis to lift them, and that's not going to help. Bomberto, Ellis sitting back, and Medhurst arrives to help out the marked Heinrich. Medhurst, 7 from 8.
Monia Gerard is extremely disappointed with her. I can see it by her facial expressions, and I really think that Broadbent will make that swap. So Gerard will go back to wing D, and Broadbent will go into goal defence.
Gilson.
Centre contact. Other side wing attack. They're coming round. They're coming
Swift
round,
Green.
round, round, round.
Don't they need a goal now, the Swifts? They're inside 2 minutes until the first break, and another turnover off the ball.
I'm not even sure what she called. She's called delayed now, so she's advancing the penalty. I think what it was wasn't set in the right position. A silly rule.
Say what you think, as that ball is threaded straight up the middle to Heinrich. And the Thunderbirds have scored 7 in a row against the Swifts. No one surely has done that all season. Umberto. Oh, Ellis saw a lot of that.
You're probably best not to put a high ball up when Liz Ellis is in the vicinity of the pass.
Gilson unloads quickly to Cox. Back to Broadbent. They're moving it around better. This passage up the court now. Can they finish? They're down by 7. As they were in round 7.
Exactly. Unlucky there by Poynton. I thought she had really good position. Unfortunately, probably just put her shoulder in at the last minute, but well done.
Green calling players to her, and they're going back. Pratley. Tough defence here.
Great defence. You don't often see the Swifts have to go back and backplay the ball to their defenders to attack. Quite unusual.
Lovely interplay between Gilson and Pratley, who finishes that for just second goal of the quarter. And that's all right as long as you're feeding your goal shooter, but they're down by 5.
They probably should look to use her a bit more because she is very accurate.
Oh, Ellis just turned away from her player for a moment, and Heinrich took the front space.
Fantastic movement. She's getting on the move. She's not just standing there holding Liz Ellis out of play. So great movement, and that's what's catching them off guard. They're not expecting that.
Yes, defence. Bring it up, centre. That's delay. No,
Yeah,
that's
it's delayed. Scholes. And now it's time. So Scholes kind of got the result she was after there. And that is a quarter that the Thunderbirds are after. They are 4 in front of the Sydney Swifts at Etzer Park. This is second, hosting first, remember, in the CBT. And it's 16-10 to the Thunderbirds. And Kristen Heinrich, Ella, has had a very good first quarter with 9 from 11. She's moving nicely.
She certainly is. What has been very good is that she's really getting a shot close to the post. She's not taking the long bombs. The other thing is she's just playing very, very smartly. She's moving around. She's losing Ellis. If they play a split circle, she's creating things. She's chasing loose balls. She's actually doing a lot of work. And that's what you need to do against one of the world's best defenders.
So what's it going to be for the Swifts in the second quarter? You know, this match so much resembles their first encounter in round 7 when the Thunderbirds in Sydney led 16-9 at the first break. Now they're up 16-10. Heinrich, can she get on with the job? She only ended up with 14 from 19 in that first encounter.
Exactly, and that's the point. You've got to put 4 good quarters together. You can't play 1 or 2. You've got to put 4, and against Liz Ellis, that is extremely hard.
Let's listen in, if we can, to Margango.
It doesn't really matter because they haven't used that yet. The only time we've been in trouble is when they've got the ball on the edge of the circle. So that means you've just got to keep working around, all right? And keep at it. 2 hands, 1 hand on the shot out, all right? We didn't have much trouble in getting out of the back either. So
Let's have a look at some statistics out of that first quarter. I think the Swifts will be a little concerned about turnovers, 11 against them.
Exactly, and Monia Gerard would have had a number of those turnovers. So they're looking out of the defence, and if they get a turnover, they've got to make sure they hit the target down the court. Look, penalties fairly even, rebounds even, attempts, look, 19 to the Thunderbirds. So you've got to get the attempts up, and then you've got to convert. That's the real issue.
5 of those 11 turnovers for the Swifts have come from Kimberly Green. I've seen her in previous matches give up big turnovers in the first quarter and then totally eliminate them from her game. If she can do that here, then the Swifts are in with a great chance. Anyway, Neil Cross has been down sideline listening in. Neil.
Well, Julie Fitzgerald spending a lot of time with Kimberly Green and with Pratley and with Gilson in their centre court and feeding combination into the circle. Spent a lot of time talking to them. Defensively, looks as though she was pretty happy, and they don't, at this stage, appear like they're going to make the change that Ella suggested.
Okay.
Shall I say wait for it?
Well, Gerard still at goal defence. Everyone's set. Second quarter, here we go, with the Thunderbirds up by 6.
Swing attack contact.
If you watch now, the Sydney Swifts setting up a triangle defence. Have a look at it. It's a big triangle that floats around, but they are sticking onto their players, but they sort of take up a bit of space as well.
That is contact centre.
Medhurst. Pratley, Green.
Advantage obstruction, goal
Wilson dropping away from Scholes, over the top to Catherine Cox. Cox to shoot over the top of Reddy. Oh, through the Bombertos. Oh, that was, Liz Ellis playing front position. That's not on.
No, exactly. You've got to get her on the move. You can't stand and go for those holds. Even if you are 6'7", you wouldn't do it on Liz Ellis because we know she's capable of getting those high balls.
Tipped in by Broadbent to Ellis, and here they come. Gilson. I think the Swifts got the shock they needed in that first quarter. I'm expecting a comeback here.
Especially with shooting like that. Great shot from Catherine Cox. Very long. She was confident, went straight to the post, which is what you want from your goal shooter.
Swifts have got to take the crowd out of the game as well. When they were down by 7 some weeks ago at quarter time, they're only down by 2 by half time, the Swifts. They did manage to come back and then eventually win the game. They did it steadily. They didn't panic at quarter time.
You did mention the crowd. Now, it is a factor for the Thunderbirds, obviously a positive one for them, but I think the Swifts will lift to the occasion. So I think this quarter they're going to go hell for leather.
Advantage break goal attack.
Poynton, short run. Laura von Berto.
Damage attack obstruction.
Medhurst.
Damage upside centre.
The Thunderbirds goal has got caught in on the baseline then, so great pressure from the Swifts defenders.
Ellis. Gerard, will they hang in as they are with Gerard at goal defence? Cox, Green, can she keep the turnovers down? So many aspects of this game to keep an eye on. Green didn't want to replay it, just sort of tapped it into Pratley. And Pratley on good stats, 4 from 4.
I think Julie Fitzgerald has really sat down and had a stern talking to the girls. They've come out a lot more hard and strong at all the passes.
She's not the only one who talks at quarter time. Yeah, Liz Ellis has as much to say as Julie, and Liz would have been letting rip.
Particularly to the defenders, she would have told them really, let's get going this quarter.
She's been talking to herself too, I think. She got beaten a few times by Heinrich. Absolutely clean. Medhurst.
Great shot.
Well, the Swifts have halved the lead. It's back to 3. Pratley, and they're just doing it steadily, the Swifts. There's nothing too frantic about the play. Oh, a little elbow for Cox on Poynton. And the umpires let that one go, and Poynton gets the last laugh.
They were probably both giving a bit, so they let it go.
Von Berto to Heinrich. Really need one here, the Thunderbirds, just to consolidate their ground. And the lead is being taken and whittled away. Medhurst.
Margango's probably sitting on the sideline thinking this is what happened last time. So she's going to be trying to motivate her girls and talk with them and cheer them on. But they just said it over again.
Wilson back to Gerard. Oh, and a step there against Broadbent.
It just looked a bit odd, and when something looks a bit odd when you land, the umpire always calls you for stepping. So I don't think it was, but...
It looks like a duck.
Yeah, well, no, if it looks unsteady on your feet, then...
Heinrich, big shot this one. Out it comes, and she clatters into the back of Liz Ellis. A clear penalty against the shooter there. Gerard. And Gerard, maybe not on top of the game today. 4th turnover, 7 penalties against her and Ellis.
And when I mentioned her turnovers before, I just mentioned her because it is unusual to see it. So normally very steady coming down court.
And Gerard, another penalty. She's just looks like she's not comfortable.
Yeah, it's like a fraction off the pace. It's like she's coming in slightly late. She's not first at it.
Wilson and the Thunderbirds have scored the last 3 to be back out 5-5, and the errors are creeping back into the game after such a steady start to the quarter. Shows.
Wing attack, that's contact.
Yeah, Kimberly, great look from Green across the court to Nikki Boyd.
I think she was saying, oh, don't put me off of that, that's a tip for me.
Apparently not. Medhurst. Oh, Heinrich.
It was a great move. Lizzie.
Now, that may not be part of the game, but I tell you what, that's what got them back into the game
last
in
time.
round 7.
Yeah, being a present is certainly what agitates the goalers. And here we can see a lovely jump. It was obstruction,
and then
but she gave her a bit of a hip.
You know, Ellis plays that way, and I'll leave that up to you folks at home. Whether you think it should be part of the game.
Part of the game, you just got to give it back, don't you, Steve?
That's
you just got to be strong enough to take it. And
that's right.
Certainly, when I played Lizzie, we had a number of tussles like that, and I certainly enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's good to hear the players' perspective on it. There'll be folks at home, conservative types like me, who say, well, that shouldn't be in the game. But if you give as good as you get, if the umpire doesn't blow it, what are you going to do?
Well, you've just got to give it back.
Yourself.
You have to. So it's up to them to control the match. And certainly, I knew if Liz Ellis did that, I had her. I knew she had to try and do that to stop me. So I enjoyed it. But, you know, Lizzie had a million tussles where she beat me too.
Green. Across to Gilsonen.
See, it's getting physical now in both circles. You know, it's on the line tonight. It's fantastic. Top two teams, they're going to go hard at it.
If the Thunderbirds sneak the win tonight and they get 2 points closer to the Swifts, if the Swifts were to trip up on the journey home, mind you, they've got a softer last 3 games than the Thunderbirds do. They're at home to the Jaegers, home to the Kestrels, and home to Phoenix. Now, maybe Phoenix would help the Thunderbirds out, but that's getting way ahead of ourselves. Cox.
And who knows, the Jaegers are coming home with a bang too.
They certainly are. Beat the Thunderbirds last week, nearly beat Phoenix the week before. Margango. Swifts have scored the last 2, 22-17. Nice turnover to get. Nat Bomberto to a flying Nat Medhurst. Oh, Gilsonen, got to look at that. Contact against Gilsonen. 21 penalties, 22-13. Heinrich, Gerard in a back. Heinrich keeping a composure in the little no-look pass. Take that, she says. Medhurst takes it, and the Swifts have to take it on the chin as the Thunderbirds go back out to 6. 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Heinrich, as the Thunderbirds have repelled the challenge from the Swifts. They keep up the intensity. Medhurst. And this is for a 7-goal lead. (24-13) the penalties now. And Medhurst to put this one away. And she probably will, now that Gerard's out of play. Call for the obstruction. Gerard chalking up a 10th penalty. There we go. And it's 24-17. Neil Cross, what have you been seeing?
Oh, just a lot of frustration at the defensive end for the Swifts, Steve, but also because the Thunderbirds have unlocked the secret, if you like, in this quarter. Ella talked about the triangle defence. The Thunderbirds have been intent this week at practice at coming down the side of the court rather than going into the teeth of that defensive aim by the Swifts.
Well, the coaches go to work on these things, don't they? And certainly the Thunderbirds would have been looking at that match from earlier in the season when they got beaten by 6. Try and come up with the right tactics. Deliberate against Gilsonen. They're getting absolutely hammered by the umpires. But they're just slightly off the pace.
They are. As I said, they're a fraction off the pace, which is enabling them to get a lot of penalties, and then they have a lot of penalty passing shots. So it's uncharacteristic by Gerard and Ellis to be able to play so much.
Liz Ellis just gave her ankle a bit of a tweak taking that last intercept. Looks to be okay, but she was out the back of the court just stretching it a moment ago. See if she's 100% on it. Needs to be. Medhurst. 6 the lead for the Thunderbirds. Oh, contact against Heinrich. So Liz Ellis gets one without having to do too much. And this was the intercept. Now Liz Ellis, and she went out the back of the court here after there. She just slightly rolled that right ankle, securing the intercept. Seems to be all right. It's one of those very temporary things. She's able to run it out.
Sometimes your ankle does just click, and then you sort of stretch it, and it seems to click back into place. Unusual, but a lot of people have that problem.
Thunderbirds by 5, 3:45 left in the second quarter. All the information about the league and the upcoming test matches against New Zealand and the team of the decade, there it is, abc.net.au/netball. A packed Etzer Park, really enjoying this one. The Swifts making a bit of a run here. This is for 3 in a row. And you cannot switch off against this top side, the Sydney Swifts. Got it back to 4. Medhurst.
Again, the triangle defence when they're floating back enables them to pick off a ball when they come through the middle of that defence, like Neil was saying.
Broadbent and Kelly coming together. That's player and umpire. Pratley cross the court, dangerous ball, and Green gets the scraps. Those lateral passes can bring you unstuck. Gilsonen against Poynton. This for 4 in a row. Haven't the Swifts needed a run like this? Pratley.
Yeah, when you're out of play, you have to stay out of play until the ball's actually released, and Poynton didn't do that. She moved early, and so that's why Pratley got an extra shot.
And the Swifts bench up and running. Vanessa Ware, Jackie Murphy, Erin Bell, Leah Short and Sam May.
Oh, unfortunate there, that call by Reddy. I didn't really think it was a contact. I think she's saying that she was leaning slightly in.
Pratley. There we go, 5 in a row for the Swifts. And, a timeout. And the Thunderbirds, Laura Bomberto needs some attention, as does this run of the Sydney Swifts, and you can do something about both at an opportunity like this. Well, Catherine Cox, she's quite a target up front for the Swifts feeders. And the ball's got to be delivered on the money.
It certainly has. Now, she's been holding strong, particularly in that first quarter. She held very strong on Reddy, and, you know, I was saying Reddy had to try and get in front of her because the high balls were coming in too easily. When she does stay in the circle, when she is a presence there, she's fantastic. She's not phased by anything, Coxie. She just puts it up, in it goes, on with her job. So, obviously the Swifts need her firing in that circle for them to have a chance to win the match.
Demelza Fellows waiting for her chance. I think we could call that the timeout thumb of Laura Bomberto. That's the one that needs scrapping whenever they need to have a think about things.
Oh, exactly. Quite a good tactical move, really.
Did you have a timeout injury?
Yeah, finger, or I called asthma. I called them all. Yeah, I called them all.
Yeah. Heinrich.
It's the captain's duty.
That would be anathema to some people in this sport who like to think that there's no such thing as an injury timeout. But there you go. We know. Cox looking for Gilson and Schultz. Oh, wow, there we go. Thunderbirds throw in.
Well, the umpire was right on the money there, so we'll go with what she thinks. Nikki Boyd making a good decision there.
Already gave it straight to Pratley. Great defensive pressure mounted by the Swifts. This one's going to hurt.
Oh, wanted to come out, didn't it?
Pratley wanted to finish off. Okay, that's Bomberto. Game on, folks. It's only 2 in it with a minute to go to half-time. Oh, Heinrich. Whoopsie. Yeah. And another contact out of Gerard there. I don't know that one was necessary.
No, and look, you know, it's probably frustrating because they are doing those little passes between Heinrich and Medhurst, and that's really a disappointing miss because she really wanted to probably put them further in front.
That one would drive a coach nuts from that kind of range with a comeback happening from the Swifts. And they're only down by 2. And Cox a little disappointed with her teammates, not running into space perhaps. Gerard, Gilson.
Contact.
15 seconds left in the quarter. Timely goal here for the Swifts. Cox makes sure of it. Nothing but net. And they're back to 1. Can they scramble one more? Toss it in there. Pratley, throw it up. And gets it.
Oh, fantastic.
How good was that? And right on the button of half-time. And the Swifts have wiped out what at one stage was a 7-goal deficit, down by 6 at quarter time. Here we are at half-time at Edsa Park. All to play for in the second half, 25 apiece. What a game we have on our hands now with the Sydney Swifts making this terrific run at the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Julie Fitzgerald will be feeling a bit chipper about her chances in the second half. She spoke to Neil Cross.
Julie, that first half, very, very close. In the end, you've levelled it up at half-time. You must be pleased with that after the first quarter.
I'm pleased we're level. I just think our placement of the ball leaves a lot to be desired, and that's something we're really going to have to work on if we want to try and get a lead here.
And that lead in the second half, I guess the pressure from the Thunderbirds has been immense. So how do you turn things around in the second half, pressure-wise?
I think, again, it's just our placement and our passing and having a strong drive onto the ball and a bit more confidence out there when we're getting rid of it.
Good luck.
Well, they did look a more confident side, particularly in the last 5 minutes of that second quarter.
Well, the ball was going far too easily in their attack off a centre pass. That last one, it just went 1-2 and in.
Yeah.
Now, you can't have that. You've got to put pressure on, particularly at the end of the quarter, dying minutes to level it up.
Well, we've been keeping our eyes on Kimberly Green. Gave up 5 turnovers in the first quarter. Guess what? In the second, not a one.
Exactly, and you said that every match we've played and we've watched her, she's fumbled and dropped balls and offside first quarter, and then suddenly she gets her momentum, gets into the game, plays a lot stronger. She is on a fantastic player in Shoals, very tough, so she's finding it hard to get space, but you know what I like about her? She keeps working. She's a bit of a workhorse, keeps trying to drive, keeps going. That's all she can do.
Has a leadership role to play with the 21 and under side, the Australians to play New Zealand 21 and under, so that's going to be a nice measure of where we stand at that next level underneath the Australians and Silver Ferns.
Well, certainly, and I think they'll do very well. I've watched them in training, and their coach, Lisa Alexander, will get them firing. Julie Fitzgerald is assistant coach, so we'll have a good team.
Let's have a look at some statistics out of the whole first half, if I can put it that way.
Well, statistics are fairly even. Turnovers, though, by the Swifts, that's a bit of a worry. They're 3 more. They want to try and make sure they bat even. They don't want to give any more up than they have to. Look, attempts, 29-30. And the goal percentages are fairly high, so we're in for an absolute cracker this second half, Steve.
Second quarter from the Swifts, 15 from 17. That certainly got them back into the game. And this match so resembles their first encounter this year. Only this time, the Swifts are in a 2-goal better position and away from home. Here's Neil Cross.
Well, Margangove, tell me, is it hard to be not annoyed at giving away a lead in a match like this?
It's disappointing. It's happened to us in the past. You can never underestimate the Swifts. They'll always come back at you. But we can't make errors. I know some of them are forced, but some are unforced. So we just got to tidy up on that because they make us pay.
Last time, the third quarter, very important for you. You dropped badly.
Absolutely. We really know about that, and we're really going to get out there and, you know, hopefully do it what we want to do.
Thanks, Mike.
Third quarter begins with the match as it started. And Gerard and Broadbent swapping, wing defence, goal defence. Wasn't too hard to pick. Hello, Eloise wants a credit for it.
I would have done it earlier, that's all, if I was coaching, but I'm not Julie Fitzgerald.
Well, it actually started to come good, though, didn't it? So is that a risk?
Well, exactly, but I still want to... I just love the combination. The fact that they can change, the 3 of them, is unbelievable, and they're all so good, such good players.
Oh, Medhurst nearly had to take her eye off the ball to escape the challenge of Ellis. And Broadbent fires the rebound away. I think these goals are going to be hard to get for the Thunderbirds from here on in. They just stepped up the intensity of the Swifts.
Well, the first half they shot from very close range. They need to bring that back into their game. Last quarter they had the long shots, started to miss a few.
Cox to Prattley.
Distraction, goal defence. Right, you just don't want to do that. The goaler has gone back to the line for the pass and you're out of play. Unfortunate there.
And the Swifts are 2 in front. Jamelza Fellows, there's a chance that Margangove would have put Fellows on at 3/4 time, and perhaps Mandy Edwards opted not to. What's going on there? There's a bit of a waltz between Broadbent and Heinrich.
Boys, Nicky Boyd, the umpire's called advantage on that. So she let it play.
Yeah.
Quite good web after that.
Yeah, we have. No, that's fine. That's fine. I just keep an eye on it, folks. Gilsonen. Oh, Broadbent fires it up the line. Green. Prattley. Oops, Prattley. And Cox was in front, so Reddy picks herself up off the floor, but not in time to stop Catherine Cox. 16 from 19. Medhurst. Oopsie, that was sort of betwixt and between Heinrich and Laura von Berto, and neither of them could run it down. Whoops.
Over a third, you must touch the ball in a third each time. It can't swing over a third, which will happen on that throw-in.
Heinrich 57-28. Gerard. You have the feeling the Swifts are pretty much playing for the minor premiership here, Eloise. And that means a home major semi-final.
And that's what you want. You love in finals not to have to travel. If you can play them at home, it's such more relaxing because, you know, we all work during the week and we have other things to do. So it's kind of nice not to have to take the day off and get all organised really early. So, yeah, they'll be wanting to get that home final for sure.
Not to mention the just a straight-out home court advantage.
Oh, exactly. Playing in front of all your fans.
Nat Bomberto, Heinrich. Oh, she was rolling along the baseline, but two went after her, so it went to Medhurst, and they're not dropping at the moment. Nat Medhurst fallen to 13 from 17.
She's worried about the defence on the shot, which Broadbent was pretending to jump on. She's got to just put it up. Be confident.
Into the pocket. Kimberly Green. Contact against Reddy. And the penalties are really starting to even out. The Swifts were some 10 penalties more about halfway through the second quarter, but now 30-29. Bratley.
It's so intense. The goaling end, it's, you know, at the end of the day, you always have to get the shots in, and it's such a, you know, pressured position, and you really see it tonight in a game like this.
That was better lead-up work from the Thunderbirds. And Medhurst with the keeper out of play.
Gave herself a clap at the end saying, I've got to get more of those.
Now it's the Thunderbirds that need the turnovers. And Cox, oh, you know, that's a kind of a replay. She had it and deliberately dropped it.
Well, you know what? When they play New Zealand in a few weeks, she did it at their replay.
Yeah.
So straight away, they're really hot on the replays, the New Zealanders.
They'll be neutral umpires, though, won't they?
Yeah, but generally internationally, they pick those type of things up. They're easy ones to see, Steve. But our umpires are busy watching everything else.
Oh, contact against Heinrich. This is what we're talking about. Cox. Well,
she tapped it into herself, didn't she?
Yeah.
You're really not to be able to have possession and then use it to your advantage, and that's a replay. But the umpire let it go, so let it go it is.
Looked like a knock on to me. Catherine Cox this time.
Gosh.
Swifts by 3. Again, the signal given by centre, Selena Gilson. And Green having to sort of run a circle really to create some space away from Schultz. And the shooters are just picking up a few penalties.
Yeah, they've obviously spoken about that in the break. The umpires get together with the third reserve umpire and have a chat about what's going on. So often the reserve umpire sees things and says, watch the shooters, they're pushing, or watch the defenders. So something might have been said.
Heinrich.
That was a good shot. One she had to hit. Liz was defending well, did the double jump, but she put it through. Well done.
Medhurst. Oh,
contact.
Heinrich. Guess what? Contact.
Well, you can't say she doesn't go for everything, can you?
Expect nothing less. The reserve umpire tonight, by the way, is Jackie Jashari, another very experienced umpire. I quite like what you're telling me. I think, you know, if the reserve umpire is seeing things, you know, there's only so much that the umpire, is the pace of the game that the umpires can see. Out it comes, Poynton there. Schultz. Poynton. Oh, little fortunate.
Unlucky there for Selena Gilson, and she really went hard to try and defend Natalie Bomberto. So she did that, and unfortunately didn't quite keep it in court.
Shoulder fans, body, the underneath her.
Broadbent in and under.
With the goal defence, yes.
Nikki Boyd sets it for Heinrich. And
body, underneath.
Ellis endeavouring to mark two players. So Cannon into Medhurst. There we go, 31 all. Back they come. Oh, try and pick a winner out of this one. Heinrich. Okay. Oh, smart ball from Heinrich. That's the pass of the game for me.
Yeah, fantastic. I thought she was actually going to pass it out to one of the wings. but she's flicked it in.
This was deception of the highest order. Just a little one around the corner.
If you went back even further than that, though, her face was looking as if she was going to pass it out, so it tricked everyone.
Yeah. Pratley. And ready. He's got the contact. Quick exchange between Pratley and Gilsonen, and this is Heinrich at her best.
She's having a look out. She's thinking, oh, I'll just put it through. Broadbent's going, great, I should have moved my feet a bit more.
What's just as good is that Medhurst knew it might be coming.
Yeah, exactly. Right on the money there. Well, great drive and great take by Laura Bomberto.
You know who else would have approved of that pass? And that'd be Joyce Brown, because she loves seeing that kind of creativity, that daring to be a bit different on the netball court.
Yes.
You don't want automatons out there. You want people who play on instinct.
Yes, and that certainly, you know, Heinrich, I would say, does that. Something very unorthodox, but very effective. Those things aren't necessarily taught to you. You just got to know them.
Yep. Vicky Wilson would occasionally show you flashes of that. And
Vicky used to take your head off, actually, with a big whoa through the circle. You get to be ready to catch them.
33 all in the top of the table clash. Mickey Boyd is saying, get off her. Medhurst in very good position.
Great defence there by Alice. She's been called for advantage goal because they said she was too close, but she had her arms all over Natalie Medhurst, and that's what you want to do if you're at home watching, and certainly as a young defender coming up, even pressure when the shot's close to the post. You never know, your goaler might miss.
Pratley, 34 all. The teams both shooting at 83%. 34 from 41, the pair of them. Could it be more even? Now we're going to learn about pressure and who succumbs to it, who responds to it. Heinrich was at the front with a feed, was a bit slow going, and Ellis has given it to Medhurst. Oh, that was unlucky. Heinrich was available there. She stopped on a run. Oh.
Liz Ellis got the tip, but it went straight to Medhurst.
Gerard onto Cox. Thunderbirds would love a couple of turnovers here, but with Cox shooting like that, you're not going to get them. 20 from 25. She's at 80%, and Pratley has only missed 2 of the 17 shots. Heinrich.
Oh, great chase by Nat Bomberto. She's picked up the loose ball. That's what you need in a tight match.
It was great desperation from Bomberto to chase that down. That ball looked gone. Ellis gets the throw in.
You look, the ball gets thrown out, bounce, and look, she was never going to get that. It was going to go to the line, but she picked it up in the last minute.
This is a big turnover for the Swifts. They can take the lead here. Green, Cox, Gilsonen, Pratley, mid-range shot. She's been playing with confidence. Oh, and through it goes. Julie Fitzgerald, gosh. Would you like to be a coach one day, Ella, and sit through games like this?
Oh, I'd love it. Great, this is what you play for. You play to, if you could play this sort of intensity week in, week out, this is what you live for as a netballer, to play this type of netball. Great.
Swifts take a 2-goal lead. Scored the last 3. Thunderbirds have the centre pass. 3 to go in the third quarter. Swifts just a bit slow out of the blocks today. 16-10 down at quarter time. And they've been chipping away since. Heinrich. Contacts on Nat Bomberto. Lovely ball delivered to Cox.
Those high balls in when Catherine Cox is on the hold. It's going in too easily.
Medhurst gets one on the bounce. Oh, Heinrich just slipped on the decal. Can't keep it in. Oh, and
very
Sharon
unlucky.
Kelly's ruled that's the Thunderbirds.
Unfortunate, actually, because I think Liz did tap from the back, but it looked like Heinrich had 2 hands on it, so Anyway.
Well, Broadbent did well. No call there.
When the fans contact that hole, yes, and the fence is side,
Against
yes.
Gerard. This defence is so tight. Medhurst.
Instruction. The ball goes up. Both players.
Oh, that was Heinrich.
I certainly thought it was off Heinrich.
That's why she was after it in a hurry, because she knew it was off her. However, I've got to make 100 of those decisions every match, the umpires, and certainly
You
give them
win
a few
some,
of those.
yeah, you win some, you lose some.
And at the moment, the Swifts are winning. 39-37, 1:20 left in the third, as Laura Vomito takes it straight to Medhurst. Margango might like to have seen a shoot from that position. They work the angles back through Scholes. Medhurst. Oh, thought she was going to get it. They've got to be patient.
Fantastic defensive work here from the Swifts. They're really making them work for every single ball. Broadbent and Alice were splitting the circle, which means they're taking up space, making sure that whenever a goaler roams in their area, they pick them up.
A real test of your patience, that kind of defence. If you've got the ball in hand.
But you know what? It breaks a defensive when they've worked so hard and you still score at the end of it. It just breaks, you know, the confidence of the defensive unit.
Cox. Oh, good no call. She's got the ball. She's obviously tapped on the back of the head by the defender. Heinrich. Torner trying to work to the front again, putting some moves on. Gerard. And almost kept herself onside. This is how hard the Thunderbirds are having to work every time. Just a little misread that time. Oh, didn't get the shot away anyway. And there we go. The Swifts have come from 6 down at quarter time, even at half time, to a 2-goal lead at 3/4 time. 40-38. Who's it to be this time? The Swifts 2 to the good at Etzer Park. And Fiona Poynton has had a pretty good game for the Thunderbirds.
Fiona Poynton, one thing I'd say about her is she is extremely steady. You know, she's not the flashy type of defender, but she does the really hard work. Early on, Pratley was very quiet. She didn't have the usual sort of 10 goals in a quarter. She was mainly feeding in. That means Poynton was putting a lot of pressure on her and blocking her from those shots. But she's going to the game, obviously, by just driving hard through the midcourt. They do use her down court as a feeder off the centre pass like this one. Certainly, yeah, she's just a strong, steady presence in their defensive end.
She's actually the leading rebounder on the court with 3. Is Julie Fitzgerald chatting to the Swifts. Let's have a look at the stats to this point, Ella.
Well, the stats, look, the penalties are still a lot higher for the Swifts. That's something what Julie Fitzgerald just said then is no penalties to the defenders. They want to get the arms up over the shot. Turnovers again, still a bit higher for the Swifts. They've got to make sure they don't throw too many balls away. Intercepts, they got back into the game by pulling out a few special ones. Now attempts, very even, and it's going to come down to the goalers that keep their nerve. Whoever can shoot well in this last quarter over tight defence, they're both defending well, it's going to matter.
And what about this Etzer Park crowd? Can they get them over the line? Here's Neil Cross again.
Thanks, Steve. Well, Demelza Fellows is coming on to court. That's the big change for the Thunderbirds. She's coming in for Bianca Reddy. Marg Angove was content to talk to her defenders, but she left Jane Woodlands to talk to the attack circle girls in Heinrich and Medhurst, and also the Von Berto girls, to make sure that they're doing the right thing in terms of feeding that ball in. But as I said, the main thing is the defensive end. They've made that change with Reddy going to the bench.
Okay, thanks, Neil. A rousing reception for the players coming back onto the court for the final quarter. And it'll be a Swifts centre pass. Away we go. 15 to play in this first versus second match in Adelaide on a cold night in front of a packed house. And so Demelza Fellows is on at goalkeeper. Bianca Reddy out of the game. 13 penalties, the most in the team, but you expect the circle defenders to rack those up. As Pratley, the ever steady, mature beyond her years, Susan Pratley.
She certainly is. I've really enjoyed watching her this year. She's just shown maturity that, you know, often takes years to earn and get the respect that she has. So we know that she can shoot well under pressure.
Medhurst very careful with that shot. They've got to make them all count, and somewhere along the line, the Thunderbirds have got to find a couple of turnovers. Gilsonen. Will we have a match go to extra time? We haven't had one yet. No draws this year. All matches must be decided. As Cox over Fellows. Just a quick look at the scoreboard to find that they're up by 3. Contact goes against Heinrich. Gilsonen. Green. Cox. Oops. Green just trying for something a bit special there. Shoots a grin at Susan Pratley, old teammates in Canberra, but this one didn't come off.
She really just needed to land and steady, particularly when they're up. You know, you want to make sure you just have nice, steady, you're feeding it in, you're doing the right thing, which is, she knows she'd made a mistake, so she'll be trying to get it back now.
I was about to say how confidently the Swifts were playing, but that's overconfident. Oh, no, that is not what's needed when you're trailing. A little offside call against Nat Bomberto. Green. I've got the feeling the Swifts are very much playing this at their pace.
They are. They're not actually flying down the court, and that's sometimes a trick when you play the Thunderbirds. They play so fast, you tend to play frantic with them, but the Swifts are really controlling their pace in their attack end, which is great.
Watch out, Swifts by 4 and with the centre pass. They're breaking this open. Gilsonen. Whoops. Pratley wasn't expecting that one. Fell behind her. Umberto. Heinrich. Doesn't want to take it. Contact against Broadbent.
With the goal defence, goal attack. Thank you.
Big goal, this one. Medhurst. Oh, gave it off to Heinrich. He's better go in.
Better, because it was a similar, you passed it to exactly the same position anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an advantage.
Oh, great hands up from Gilsonen. And Heinrich gives up another penalty.
She had to try and have a go at that one. That's why she got called for the contact.
5th penalty. Broadbent. Cox working in front of Fellows. Time absolutely on the Swift side. They're happy to play it around like this, even though there's 11 and a half minutes to go. When you're in front by a few, well, you're not playing catch-up. Cox given a bit of a shove by Fellows and just says, "That doesn't bother me, Demelza." Some worried looks on the Thunderbirds bench now. Gilsonen. But is there to be another twist in the tail here? Cox. Pratley. Poynton comes back to try and challenge, and Pratley won't be put off. How long since she's missed a goal? Get you thinking about that one, Andrew.
Offside wing, obstruction wing defence. Yes, wing defence.
Laura Bomberto.
Centre contact. Just round further centre.
Swifts by 5. I don't think they'll lose it from here.
Highly unlikely, but plenty of things have happened in a game of netball where you get every second centre pass. Just takes a couple of turnovers.
Gilsonen. Whatever happens here, the Swifts will had a little chat on Monday about why it was that they had a slow first quarter again. Here's a turnover. Can they look after it? Nat Bomberto.
Contact on foot centre.
What we haven't seen in this match? A held ball.
No, we haven't. Springport played at quite a frantic pace early.
Heinrich runs it down. Back to Schultz. For Bomberto. Into the corner again. Mr. Nat. Marking is so tight. Contact Gerard. Now they can get set. Broadbent is into the back of Medhurst.
Interesting that Medhurst didn't stand up and take that shot then. She decided to pass it off or let Heinrich take it.
Heinrich on slightly better stats at 88% to Medhurst's 83. And this to get them back to within 2. Medhurst will take this one. Broadbent standing, looking, doing nothing.
Unusual for Broadbent, really. She's got to get back and put her arms up. Do something. As I said before, always put pressure on. You never know.
She's just trying to second guess her and make her think the challenge was coming.
But it couldn't be. Even if you stood back and looked at her, at least then you can have a go. But she wasn't 3 feet. So she would have been pinged as soon as she put her arms up.
Nat Bomberto, Medhurst. Oops, that's off a Swift. Medhurst. There just seem to be yellow players everywhere. Have they got 8 out there?
Well, the umpires have got a bit of yellow.
Oh, please. That's a long day.
That's the only other players they could have. Oh.
Nice try, Liz Ellis.
That's a great part of our game when a defender does that and does it cleanly.
Liz Ellis with 4 intercepts and a couple of rebounds. Had a very good game. 8 minutes to go. And there's only 2 in it, but they need a turnover.
Get off her.
Straight into Catherine Cox. We heard Nikki Boyd say a couple of times tonight, get off her.
Nikki Boyd, I've been impressed tonight. She's let a few things go or called advantage, which has been great. Great play, because we need that more in our games. It is fast and exciting, and it's great when it's played like that.
Oh, that one thought about coming out, but Heinrich makes it count. And the pressure swings over to the Swifts to convert it. Oh! The possession is with the Thunderbirds. Well, in the cacophony here at Etzer Park, Laura Bomberto didn't know that she had to take it. It was her possession. Points in, and it's hers again. Whoops, Ellis. Whoops. And Green's called for the contact. And the Adelaide fans like that. Here we go. Game on again, if they can convert. Heinrich gets it.
And great turnover here. Laura Bomberto really giving up a height advantage there, but went for it. And Liz Ellis, fantastic, but her teammate couldn't quite pick it up for her. You thought they were home and hosed, didn't you?
I did, and I'm happy to take it all back. I love a close game. 47-46, the Swifts. Thunderbirds looking for the leveller with 6:20 to go. Medhurst anchors that left foot. Can she shoot over Broadbent and Ellis?
That is actually a great shot. The first one, it hasn't just hit the lip. She went up confidently, put the high shot up. Bang, straight through.
And I reckon Ellis had a hand on hers. Oh, there's another turnover coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're going to call that on Natalie Bomberto. She just sort of came at the last minute and leant on her over her arm.
The umpires have got to see so much, haven't they? There's all sorts of little acts of deception happening out there. Bradley.
Oh, it's nearly shot taken. That's what they were trying to say there, the defenders.
Oh, and she's missed one. Pratley for the first time in a long time. Contact against Scholes. A big collision with Catherine Cox, and the boos echo around Etzer Park for Nikki Boyd's call. Cox.
It's good work by Cox then, though, to put that pressure on.
The Thunderbirds centre pass. They've got to convert them, put that decision to the back of their mind. Still no replay call. That would have been a tough one to give, and there hasn't been one so far. Medhurst just pivots that left ankle. Can she get it? That's off. But she's got the rebound. Clean. And Thunderbirds throw in. Oh.
I love it.
What a match.
It's kind of, we all go quiet because we're like, who's going to pick the ball up?
Oh, and Gerard. Oh, contact against Netball Commonwealth. Gerard has stood up in this last quarter to make an important play. Green. Broadbent. 4.5 to go. Gilsonen. Swifts by 1. Cox. And a call against Fellows. Out it comes. Pratley was in the right spot. Fellows trying to hang on to point and skirt to give us some support. And the Swifts can push it out to 3 again. Gerard. Green. Cool heads needed.
Oh, fantastic.
Gerard answers straight away. They didn't look after it.
It's great wing defence to great wing defence here. They're both pulling in great intercepts.
Gilson and Cox.
Well said. The defender's eyes were down, so she's popped it straight up.
Well, Peter Schultz will be bitterly disappointed that she gave it straight back.
She read it well, and then threw it straight to Monia Gerard for the Swifts.
Heinrich. Whoops. Oops. Oh, and the offside goes against Laura Bomberto.
Oh, that's tough, actually. That is a tough call. The other one I thought was when she pulled it up, but I mean, at the end of the day, Laura was trying to get herself off the floor.
Oh, and Gerard gives Laura Bomberto a little one to go on with. Pratley. Cox. What a great match. Match of the season so far. Pratley. Green. Fellows having a swipe from behind.
Good 3, nice distance. Great shot, Cox.
Swifts have scored 4 in a row. And timeout. Thunderbirds need to draw breath and get set. The crowd just goes absolutely quiet. It's a very strange moment at the game. But Margango calls them in. What can you say at this point? 4 down, 2.5 to go.
Dig deep, pull out something special. That's what you'd be asking your players. They really need to be tough. I'd say go one-on-one, get in front of Cox. Fellows has got to be a presence in front of her. And Poynton's got to watch in case it does go over. She may need to, roam the back line and try and take an intercept. But really, really just dig deep, score off your centre and hope for a couple of turnovers.
Swift shooting at 85% for the T-Birds 84. And a couple of quite lonely Swift supporters for the lead. 2.5 left. Gilsonen. Good try from Fellows, but Cox.
Contact!
Cox, one big step and one great shot. No, out it comes. Pratley. Oh. Shooter. Cox got to come back. Stand beside Fellows. And
that could be actually advanced for walking back. So, it's really hard to call it advanced if you don't do it both ends.
Contact. Yes.
Contact is against Gilsonen. Got to hasten slowly here. Heinrich.
Contact, centre advantage offside.
Rashes into Laura Bomberto.
Right on.
And Laura is doing what you're saying. Hurry up and get here so I can play on.
And that's what the umpire, Sharon Kelly, said. Just play on, just go.
Yeah.
So she gave her the
green light. Yeah. The Swifts are doing just enough, slowing this down by the crucial seconds. As Gilsonen and Bomberto come together. Heinrich.
They need to turn this one over, the Thunderbirds defenders.
Wing defence, contact.
Yeah, I'll call that on Peter for coming through, using her hip to try and keep Green off the pass.
Lovely move from Pratley around the front of the pack.
Contact.
Point and call.
No, where the tutor is. Yep.
And I think this one will just about decide the issue. As they get out by 3 again with 50 seconds left, and that is a heartbreaker.
It is.
So no one has come this close to beating the Swifts. Can the Swifts now, with the closing 3 rounds, be the first team to go through a home and away season unbeaten? Cox stood her ground. There it is, by 4, and with the centre pass to come. So the match slipping away from the Thunderbirds, but what a contest it's been from go to woe. Broadbent, Gerard, they'll be relieved to get away with this one away from home. They've done more than get away with it. They've won the second, third and last quarter.
Thunderbirds will be going back to the drawing board saying, oh, we've got to play 4 good ones. 4 good quarters. They killed the Swifts in the opening term.
Swifts will say the same thing. They had 1 bad quarter but 3 very good ones, and they've taken the points here to remain clearly at the top of the table. Too good for the Adelaide Thunderbirds in Adelaide at Etzer Park. It's the Swifts 54 to 49. And I think we've just seen a heck of a game of netball. We
have, and it was such great skills from all the players out on court. They certainly, look, when you watch it, it's just, I love it. This type of netball, you wish it was like that every single week. 2 top-of-the-table teams playing off. They go hard, the skills are great. It's really do or die, and it was a fantastic match. Yeah, the coaches know that they've just sat through a nail-biter of high quality, and it was fun to sit here. You know, feel privileged to be watching netball of this calibre, played with such intensity and commitment, and again I say skill, as Monia Gerard is congratulated. And here's Neil Cross with Liz Ellis.
Well, Liz, what a game. I guess you'd be absolutely delighted to come away with victory.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I said to Kristen Heinrich in the last quarter, it felt like a grand final. All the intensity was there. Everyone was going really hard for the ball. And the skill level was incredibly high, I thought. So it was nice to come away with a game like that at such a high intensity.
You actually speak nicely to your opponent on court.
Occasionally I've got some nice things to say. Generally, you know, right towards the end. But Chris and I are great mates, and more than anything else, we have a great tussle, and Thunderbirds always give us that.
Well, it's a great tussle. Now, by all reports, Marg Ango spent a lot of time with the goalers and telling Kristen to stay at home tonight. You, I don't think, pulled off an intercept or one of your trademark intercepts coming out, so a little bit of a different game.
Absolutely, and I think we always know with Marg Ango, she's got plenty up her sleeve. We know that she's going to change things up tactically. You can't come into a game against the Thunderbirds expecting same old, same old. So, no, I had to stay at home with Kristen because my instructions were just to follow around the court, and there was plenty of following to be done.
And the idea of a victory, or an unbeaten season, I should say, is coming closer and closer. You probably haven't been at your best for the last couple of weeks, obviously lifted tonight.
Yeah, and I think we're the sort of team that we need a great game against a great team to play well. And it's a bit unfortunate and it frustrates us, but that's the way it goes. And we're not letting ourselves think about an unbeaten season. We had a great start to the season last year and an appalling finish. So we want to put all that out of our mind. And it's a great cliche, one game at a time. It's pathetic, isn't it?
Well, you've got another couple of games to go. Good luck. And, of course, we're looking forward to those finals.
Thank you very much, Neil, and hopefully we'll be there in good form.
This was them before the match, Heinrich and Ellis. Then it was business as usual for 60 minutes and smiles at the end, at least from the victor. Here's Neil Cross again.
And Susan Pratley, gee, it was very tight in the goal circle. Obviously a very physical encounter.
Yeah, it was very physical, but we expect from the Thunderbirds. It's always a great game, and we just have to step up and hopefully get the job done tonight.
Did you feel it was overtly physical, like really over the top on occasions?
On occasions, but we both give it, so I suppose you have to expect to get it too. So it was all right.
And now you're looking forward. You're obviously lifted for this game. I did ask Liz the same thing. Did you actually sort of circle this in the calendar coming up?
I guess so. We knew it was going to be physical after Thunderbirds lost last week, so they're going to come out a lot stronger this week. And it's always a strong game against Thunderbirds, so we had to really step up tonight. Okay,
well done, and congratulations on a great victory.
Thank you. We
move across now to Laura von Berto, and Laura, the disappointing, both von Bertos, very good. Laura first, disappointing that it was a loss, but I guess you've shown that you certainly can compete.
Yeah, definitely. We were kind of much happy with our performance tonight, but obviously it's not what we want, and we've taken a step, so, we're peaking at the right time, so hopefully we can take this form into when we play the Phoenix next round and, have a win there.
Well, you had the first 6 rounds were you were cooking, let's say that, and then you dropped the one to the Swifts, and the past month has been pretty difficult.
Yeah, it has been, but, you know, we're taking the steps and we're putting stuff into place so we can, you know, make sure that that doesn't happen as we're getting closer to the finals.
Did you feel as if you'd unlocked some of the keys to beating the Swifts tonight?
Yeah, I thought we played well as a team and a unit tonight, but unfortunately we made some errors at some crucial times. So, you know, we've got to go back to the drawing board and, you know, find new ways that we can out-manoeuvre them.
Okay, thanks, Natalie. And now on to Laura. We'll get it right now. In terms of unlocking those secrets, I know a lot was made during the week of perhaps going around the defence than trying to go through the Swifts. Did you feel as if you achieved it at times and then got stuck on other occasions?
Yeah, of course. I mean, a really good side. They're a great defensive unit. They've had a lot of experience and been playing together for a lot of years. So, no, we feel confident that we've got what it takes to take it to them. And, yeah, we're getting closer to that. We're very disappointed about not winning tonight. But as Nat said, it's finals that we're looking towards, and we feel like we're making strong steps towards that.
Well, you set up an interesting contest against the Phoenix. You've still got to play them, and I guess that's for the double chance in a couple of weeks. Yeah, fantastic. We're really excited about playing the Phoenix next week. You know, these are the games that you play for, and should be a great opportunity to put it out there and have a good preparation for finals. How crucial in your mind is the double chance? Yeah, we love playing at home, but, you know, the girls work hard too, so it's nice when you're on the road to have that day free to concentrate on the game. So either way, we don't care. Thanks for your time and good luck. Thanks.
And we do appreciate the players talking to us straight after the match as Julie Fitzgerald fulfills some media commitments there and some stats. Ella, what can you pull from them?
Well, very high penalty count actually for the Swifts. There was actually 17 penalties to both circle defenders, Broadbent and Gerard and Ellis both had 17 penalties. That's actually a lot of penalties. But, you know, obviously their physicalness helped, you know, put off the goalers for the Thunderbirds. Certainly the turnovers very even, quite high for both teams because of the pressure that was put on every position. So that's why they are fairly high. Intercepts look 9 to the Swifts to 6 to the Thunderbirds. They were crucial. Those extra 3 intercepts, goaling to see is fantastic. That's why the game was so good. The pressure was fantastic. The shooting percentages were great. It was just the difference in the amount of goals, and those couple of intercepts did it for them.
Well, I'm sure that Swifts coach Julie Fitzgerald is very proud of her team. She's with Neil.
Well, Julie, that was an interesting contest to say the least. How's your nerves after that?
I think I'm still shaking. It was a very, very intense encounter.
What was the difference from your point of view? Anything that you in particular decided to change up, especially after that first quarter?
I think our defensive pressure increased considerably in the second half of the match, and that paid us dividends there. I'm still a bit disappointed in our attacking game. There's just not the precision there that I think we need to take the next step.
You have been, and I mentioned it to Liz, and you have been down for the last couple of weeks. Whilst you've still been winning, perhaps you're not been perfect. Obviously the side lifted for this match, but you're still not satisfied.
I'm not satisfied attacking-wise. I think we're a long way from perfect there, and there's a lot of things that have got to be fixed up. So I hope we keep developing. That's all I can say there.
And physically, obviously a very physical contest. You're happy with the way it was umpired?
Oh, yes, I think so. It's always going to be a physical encounter when we play Thunderbirds, and I think it would be a very difficult game to umpire and very difficult to see everything that's happening out there.
Yeah, there is a lot off the ball, of course, that happens as well. Did you feel as if that the goalers were not making the right moves? When you're talking about at your offensive end not making the right moves, is that the goalers' fault?
No, it's not the moves that we're making. It's the delivery of the ball to those moves that I'm disappointed in.
Okay, right. Thank you very much for your time, and well done. Another victory. You're on your way.
Thank you very much.
Always looking for improvement. Anyway, remember tomorrow on ABC TV we have the highlight show with action and interviews from this and other games in the round. The telecast times vary from state to state or territory, so please check your local guides. Soup Series Bowls tomorrow again comes from the Tri-Series in Warilla with the women's triples match between Australia and Scotland. That's from 5 o'clock. The Bowls is followed at 6 by head-to-head with Ashley Bradnam. Always a great chance for you to test your own sporting knowledge as the experts go one-on-one. Back to netball, and this Sunday afternoon we have the tantalising prospect of the Melbourne Derby at the State Netball and Hockey Centre. Both the Kestrels and Phoenix have so much to play for. That game from 1 o'clock on ABC2. And the Kiwis are coming to town next week, more specifically Brisbane for the first test next Saturday. We'll have full coverage of that match from 10:35 on ABC TV, and the second test in Sydney on Tuesday the 25th at the Superdome from 11:10 that evening. Thanks for your company. See you next time.